Hello and welcome to What Are You Saying? Hashtag Ways, where we talk about topics in the news as it affects us all. I am Osayuwa Mesale. And yes, who is new to the team today? In a long time. Why are you pointing at? You are the one. Our runaway holiday mama. How are you?
I'm good, thank
How
you.
are you? How have you been?
I'm okay.
Are you sure? Jola, I'm suspecting you these days. I'm telling you, you are doing some suspicious moves.
On
national TV, yes, I have to say it. I'm suspecting you.
Wow.
How are
I'm
you?
good.
Let her tell us where she refused to tell us.
Inquiring minds want to know.
I hustled. I mean, hustled.
But how was your trip, though?
It was alright. It was okay.
I hope you rested a little.
No, it was a working trip.
Wow, wow. We've missed you, though.
Oh yeah, I've missed being here as well.
You're welcome back.
Thank you.
Hi, Mercy.
Hello.
Why are you smiling?
I have no
All these
idea.
women, you need to see what they do. One day I will put camera, they will not know that they're live. So that people can see your true colors. How are you,
Mine
Mercy?
will be bad. I'm very well, thank you for asking.
What's good?
Everything is good. I mean, I'm thankful I'm alive, very important. And it's good to be here. Great. Lagos hustle and bustle is not out of the way, so I mean, every day.
Hospital.
You know, it feels like you begin to see like the queues are returning gradually. You
How
understand?
and why? I noticed it today.
Yeah.
Since
They've
yesterday,
increased
actually.
price of fuel.
Yeah.
And so when they
So
increase
I
price
was
of
on the
fuel,
phone
why
with
does the queue
somebody
now
on
increase?
Sunday, and she was talking to me. And by the time the guy filled the tank, the guy said, "My, your bill is 45,000." She started screaming, "For what? I've never bought fuel. Even the 30-something thousand that my driver is always collecting to buy fuel. I used to even question it." She said, "I'm not. Call your manager. She said, "Well, I'll call you back." By the time I saw her later that day, I said, "Did you pay the 45?" She said, "I had to pay it."
When the embarrassed.
But that's the reality of
Yeah.
it.
So because it's
That's
now,
our
I think it's
reality.
now 720. Pump
I
price.
was telling my driver today, I said, where is the petrol? He says, it don't pass half myself. We have to review your driving style.
But it's only driving style. Uti, I want to start rationing my movements.
No, that's what it is.
If it
I've
is not
rationed my
important,
movement, but
yeah.
I think it's not enough.
It's not enough.
I've
yeah.
packed boxes, so we gauge where we are going.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know, this economy actually calls for different measures, whether from government,
Yeah.
you know,
Because
to
do you know that I keep wondering
individuals.
that
Everybody has to adjust.
I hope
You
I'll
have
keep
to
having
keep
money to be able to
retweaking.
fill my tank.
Yeah.
Because do you know what it means to fill a tank? Every time you're spending like 45, almost 50,000 every time. It doesn't make any sense.
And you have to
I don't even understand.
balance
See,
it.
They
as
say they are
against what's
bringing
coming in.
CNG engine. If that thing comes, I'm going to. You say wait, you're shaking your. Yeah.
Please don't even.
No, I will
Don't think
convert
about
my
it.
car to gas. I will not use petrol again because it's going to be cheaper.
But you know
just
that
be
the
driving and
economy.
you hear kaboom.
So, see,
No,
so
they
you,
did it
you,
in Benin and it was so successful.
No, so you have to be very, very careful. Again, you have to be very, very careful. Those things are very touch and go. It is great. It's been around for a long time, but the conversion must be done by someone that
specialist.
knows really
No,
what
of course
they're
Exactly.
no.
doing.
So what they are doing is that they are
And-
creating conversion plants. So it's not just going to be a roadside somebody.
So
no,
be clear.
my sister.
And also, so the other reason why I sort of have
That's why I said the kaboom.
the other reason why,
bombastic
so again, so this is that kaboom, right? In terms of the way we drive on the road and the bumps and the bashes and like these, I like.
Okay.
Yeah.
On that, it's our ladies' night out, as you can tell. So if you're yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel, it's an official.
Well, you didn't
update.
ask me how I was
Hey,
doing.
sweetie, darling,
Sorry.
no verse. How are you,
Wow.
darling? Your hair is lovely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The shoe is shiny.
Please, yeah. You know,
And you feel better.
You
than
people always
last
take
week.
this thing personal. That's how I was talking. AJ said you didn't ask me, but you were talking already.
look, Kiki said, "Don't ask me how I am. Just say, well done."
Well done, well done. You look good. The Lord is
Thank
with
you.
you. I can see the
Amen.
hand of the Lord upon your
Yeah,
life.
he is. Yes. Now you may proceed.
It's our ladies' night out. Omo. So this conversation we want to have the impact of the federal government's food import duty suspension. What do you think? How do you think this would change? What's it called? The looming food insecurity that is coming. So today, and here's what we found on today's court. It says Nigeria is not a producing country. The cumulative effect of what we are suffering today is bad leadership. This was from Peter Obi. As I already said, is our ladies' night out. And when we open our phone lines, we really love to hear your thoughts on the conversation. What do you think? Suspending what's it called, food import duties. What do you think? How do you think that would impact food availability in Nigeria? So we'll see you after the break. Let's quickly run off to come back to see what we found in today's news. All right, thanks for staying with us. International Day for the Destruction of Small Arms. This date marks International Small Arms Destruction Day, a day initiated by the United Nations in 2001 to remind us of the threat and that the excessive and destabilizing accumulation of and illicit traffic in small arms and light weapons pose to peace and security, and highlights the importance of destroying surplus weapons as a key measure to reduce illicit arms flow and also build safer societies where citizens can develop their full potential. Now, according to Small Arms Survey, it is estimated that there are approximately 1.13 billion firearms in circulation, amongst which 857 million are held by civilians and 133 million by military and 22.7 million by law enforcement. I think this statistics is for people that are abroad, Abby.
No.
There's
It's
a
here?
whole lot
No,
of
no, no.
gun issues
In Nigeria.
Ha!
Absolutely.
This is alarming.
No, but these are definitely not Nigerian statistics.
It cannot.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
cannot be
but-
Nigerian statistics,
But
but
we
it
do
is
have a lot of
also, I
firearms.
mean, small arms and its proliferation is a major issue in Nigeria, especially addressing insecurity and all of that. And you want to look at our borders, very porous, and all of that. So it's a very, critical.
But do we have a
position.
small arms problem in Nigeria? I think Nigeria were more so small arms in terms of handguns, pistols. I don't think that we have. For us, we have proper gun problems. AK-47s, shotguns. Even the traditional ones that the hunters make, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we have those problems. We do.
This is really scary. These numbers are scary. God help us. All right, so who are we coming with? Let me come to you, D. What did you find for us in today's news?
So it's closely related to today's topic, actually.
Okay.
Federal government suspends food import duties, partners states on farming. It says that the government launches 5 months duty-free imports window for maize, rice, wheat orders. The federal government to partner governors, military to cultivate arable lands, support smallholder farmers. And this announcement was made on Monday that within a 150-day period, there will be duty-free for import window for food commodities as it steps up its efforts to tackle rising inflation, which had impoverished many Nigerians. The government also expressed its decisions to collaborate with states to expand land cultivation across the country. Consequently, blah, blah, blah. Among other things, the latest directive is expected to reduce demand for forex by food importers. In 2023, Nigerians spent $2.13 billion to import food items from foreign countries. And central bank states that the country exported large amounts of food from foreign countries despite being touted as the food basket of Africa. This is very interesting. These numbers are very
We're going to come back, to your story.
Yeah.
Because I want to understand how this will help
yes.
the forex. Okay.
I have questions.
Merci.
All right, so for me, is the disbarment of Femi Gbajabiamila by the State Bar of Georgia for corruption and ethical violation. And this happened in 2020, 1st of July to be precise. So this literally has a serious implication for Nigeria. I'm very concerned as a curious cat that I am. And when I thought about it, without any, fact-finding, trying to understand it or look at the laws and all of that, a major implication for all of this for Nigeria is the credibility and trust in governance. The fact that you have the appointment of someone with a disbarred status, an accusation of corruption to a high-profile position like the chief of staff, to the president can and should erode public trust in government. So it raises a lot of questions, especially as per the vetting process. We understand that before anybody becomes a public office holder, there's usually a process. They vet you and all of that, all of the checks. But like I mentioned earlier on, it raises question about the vetting process and standard of integrity expected of public officers in Nigeria. And if you remember back-end conversation that you and I had, I talked about issue of morality. And it also raises that concern of morality. When you compare two countries, especially, that of the United States and that of Nigeria, you see that they are big on ethical behavior, they are big on, standards and all of that. And if they disbar someone, they think that you have violated something, you have behaved, contrary to the law, they disbar you. But for us in Nigeria, we absorb this person up to a point where he becomes, a chief of staff to the president. And you begin to ask yourself, what is the effort, all the effort geared towards the fight against corruption? Is it just lip service that we're paying and all of that? It might not mean anything, but, that's what shows the difference with our society and this other society. So it's quite questionable. It's unfortunate that these are the kind of persons who have questionable character outside of here, but we literally embrace them. They become very, prominent public figure. And what does that make for us, our public image outside of Nigeria? So it's a lot of concern, honestly. And
Don't
it just
be
leaves us.
concerned.
All right.
So don't be concerned. So here's it for me, right? On a very serious note. The morals of human beings are changing, have changed. So it would have been unimaginable, unfathomable, maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago, to have a convicted felon rise to... In fact, the mere suggestion of it, people resign. But where we are in the world today, where, I can decide that Uwa's shirt right now is black, and you have to accept that my truth is black. What it means is that you're going to see a shift. So I like that you stepped right into it and you said it's America. Let's not forget that America is trying to elect a convicted criminal, not a old convicted criminal. A recently no, leave case. Case is that it may go either way. But we have proved beyond a reasonable doubt by a jury of his peers that he is guilty. And half of that nation is still behind him.
Half?
Well, let me just use 50-50. No, let's not even go deeper.
I think
right?
the numbers are higher.
Let's go to...
Nobody really
Brazil
checks things through moral compasses anymore.
So it's not even about moral compass. What I'm trying to tell you is that you are going to have to accept at some point that the moral compass has shifted. There's no true north anymore in the moral compass. So I listened to people after Trump was convicted say, this is a witch hunt. People were finding ways to justify a man that you saw blatantly lying. As of this morning, they were talking about Project 2025. Project 2025 is being driven by people that are close to Trump, that we know that if he gets elected, they will be appointed into offices in his administration. Today, he denied that he doesn't know who is behind Project 2025 and what it is about. So I hear you. But really, this problem, it don't cast.
It don't cast. More move.
No, sir, but I know that we don't have time. But
we need to move.
When something is black, is black.
Auntie.
And it is at this point now, we're not just talking about say maybe you call person say you get big head. You understand what they talk about?
Mercy.
I said they just convicted the man.
No, I hear you very well, right? But I'm just saying
what's
that.
Your worst
So, for the residents of Lagos State, Environmental Sanitation Day is back. On Saturday, this Saturday,
Action Governor,
the 13th of July, the Lagos State government has announced that it has concluded the plans to reintroduce the monthly sanitation. So on Saturday, now it is not clear at this point in time, according to the story, what the day will look like. So if we all remember, about 8 years ago, 2016, the government stopped environmental sanitation. It was a long legal battle, predominantly based on the fact that movement was restricted in those early hours in the morning, right? So now they are bringing it back. They accept that Lagos is now a mega city As such, they cannot restrict movement. But the idea that they need to promote a clean and healthy environment means that they're bringing the day back. Now, I think that on the surface of it, this is good, right? But for me, it's like having a gaping surgical wound and then you want to put a band-aid on it
yeah.
or a plaster on it. Because the truth of it is, I am not, by virtue of a couple of hours on a Saturday morning once a month, going to teach people how to keep their neighborhoods clean. The idea that I think we've lost a lot, and we've said it many times on the show, national orientation, right? Public service announcements, the things that we're teaching people to do. I mean, I remember growing up, all the drunk driving videos, all the videos teaching people how to make ORS, these things where you put on your TV, you see them, you listen to radio, you hear them, right? So the education goes beyond the few hours on a Saturday morning. You need to orientate people to know that continuous. I mean, was it not last week we took the flood story and somebody tipped their bin because there was water flowing past their house. They tipped their bin. So there is a real education that needs to happen beyond telling people. I mean, now if you don't even restrict movement, I'm not sure that how are you going to compel people to come out of their houses, right? So there is still a responsibility that every person has around keeping their neighborhoods clean. Because you are digging trenches in front of your house, I don't call it gutter, I call it trench. The water is not going anywhere. You just dig a ditch in front of your house, you cast it and you say, wow, I have drainage. No, you do not. You have a trench in front of your house.
It is where. On that note, they take you all the time. I don't have time for my what's in the news. We'll go on a break because this is our conversation for tonight. I want us to have time to discuss it. Stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, thanks for staying with us. Now, tonight we're having a conversation around the pressing economic issues that hits close to home for every Nigerian, the impact of the federal government's recent suspension of food import duties. Now, to understand the gravity of this discussion, let's rewind to the time before Nigeria's economic landscape was shaped by the policies of prominent figures like Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Back then, prices of basic commodities were relatively rather stable. Nigeria was an attractive market for multinational corporations. However, we witnessed a gradual exodus of companies due to various economic factors, leaving an indelible mark on our economy. Fast forward to today, we're grappling with unprecedented inflationary pressures. Now, the current inflation rate in Nigeria has skyrocketed, biting hard on the livelihoods of everyday citizens. Basic goods have become increasingly unaffordable, increasingly unaffordable, exacerbating the already challenging economic conditions. Against this backdrop, the federal government's decision to suspend food import duties aims to bolster domestic production and reduce dependency on foreign goods. So tonight we're having the conversation and we're asking, how do you think this would impact, right? The decision for the federal government to suspend the import duty, how would this impact general livelihood in the country? Now, please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. Who is going to start?
Okay. So for
now,
me,
you start the story, so finish it.
I mean, for me, I get the parts about the government trying to, reduce the demand on FX. But I want to go back to, I remember when the government actually put a lot of, increased the, duties on this product. That's to boost local production. So now I'm asking myself what's going to happen to that local production. Is the problem, this food crisis, is the problem really that we can't sustain production, or is the problem that there is no production, or why is there a need to bring these things? Because these things are in Nigeria. Why is there a need to import these things? So if you import rice, what happens to all those who have invested heavily in rice paddies and rice farms and all that? What happens to them? you bring in maize. Maize is a major thing in the north. So is it that it's not enough, or rather, should we not be addressing why is maize not enough? Why is it not being distributed enough? What is really the problem? Do they need more seedlings? Do the farmers, is it a security issue? Is it a logistics issue? I mean, I feel those are the real issues, not that, oh, okay, we open up importation. So when you open up importation, at what point are you going to close this importation? And then what's the guarantee that when you import, because whether there is tax on it or there is no tax on it, the people who are bringing these items, is it that the government are going to say that this is the price you need to, except the government is saying you need to sell at this price? Then maybe we can say, okay, it will be affordable to the average Nigerian. But as long as the government does not have the power to say you have to sell at X amount of money, it's still the same thing. It's not going to be affordable.
Let me borrow Uti's English that she used earlier. What do you call the wound? The gapping? What do you call
Surgical wound.
The surgical wound that you call they use band-aid.
Yeah.
They come around. Because I mean, literally that sums up what Diola just said. Because the truth is that there's a problem.
Yeah,
we have food crisis.
Yes.
You understand? Looming food crisis. There's a problem, and the government is, as far as I'm concerned, the roots is there, but you are plucking branches and trying to solve the problem. But let me hear your thoughts, Uti, and I'll come to you, Miss.
Giola raises a lot of very, very valid points. And for me, it's trying to balance it. So, sometimes it feels like it's trial and error, right? So we remember that during the last administration, we had a border closure, we had all of those things that were done at the time to try and stimulate the sector to say, we can produce. And as much as Nigerians don't believe that was well thought out and it was impactful, it actually was, right? It increased the production of rice within the country. So the problem we have is that we are plenty. Supply and demand. All those who are there, you are going. It's not rice. It's not jollof. We all like firewood jollof. Yeah, we are plenty, right? So the reality is that in the conversations that I've had with people in that value chain, demand far exceeds supply. So the fact is, when you are problem solving, when you're treating a sick person, sometimes they say you have a disease. You are not treating that disease, but you treat the symptoms as they present, right? If it's attacking the organs, you deal with that. So this, for me, is how I interpret this approach, right? We know that importation is not good. But you then have to look at the criticality of the problems that you are facing. The far-reaching effects is, okay, I have a food problem. I have an FX and fuel problem, right? So the dependencies, we're still a largely import-driven nation.
Sure.
Leave just food alone. So food inflation is a problem, right? But then you also have fuel. We've talked about the woes of the silver bullet that is not silver in the Dangote refinery. We just talked about the increase in the price of petrol, right? All of these things are also vying for FX, right? All of these imported goods that we all have a taste for, where our children now know Cocoa Pops more than they know Nasco conflicts. It is a problem, right? All of these things put pressure on FX. So we're saying, okay, what are the things? It's just like when you say subsidize things or remove import duties on the fuel that is coming in or whatever. This is the strategy now that says, look, based on today's problem, the looming thing is I need to manage supply. So rather than me watch, bread has gone from 300 naira to 2,000 naira. Between FX issues, between the Ukraine war, wheat is a problem. So, okay, 150 days, bring the wheat in. Let us have, so it's commodities. It's not go and import processed goods. So it's important to mention that, right? Bring them in so that you can create a measure of stability. I get that. Now, whether 150 days will be 150 days, question one. Diola makes a very, very critical point. That I bring in wheat. If you have not said that bakery, now sell bread
at back to 500 naira.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Bakery go still tell you. Is it only wheat that is the problem?
No, I'm just using it as an example to buttress Diola's
No,
point.
I'm even saying that is it only the goods that is the problem? The bakery is grappling with power issues.
Exactly. So that's why I'm trying to tell you that you are now weighing the demons. You are weighing the demons because the truth is operational costs will be impacted. Because if you buy wheat cheaper, you could have been buying wheat expensive. Petrol will still be the cost of petrol. Diesel will still be the cost of diesel. So yes, again, it's like choosing the lesser of two evils, right? So you're saying, you know what, let me give this window, the same way we did for pharmaceuticals, right? Let's just give this window to try and then stimulate the entire chain because you bring in the raw materials, you give the guys in the middle, the processors, a fighting chance, you give, hopefully, an impact on the end consumer. That's the thought process. Now, gap one.
Reality.
No.
That's
reality.
But reality.
That's what it is. But like you said, if certain controls are not put in place, I can't guarantee that these prices will be impacted. Because as a processor, I can choose to offset the gains that I'm now making in operational expenses by buying the commodities cheaper. I can use it to offset my profits, which means that my actual price will not change. My revenue will stay the same, my cost will go down, ergo my profits will go up. So rather than you and I experiencing the joy, is the middle guy that experiences the joy. But I know Messi wants to jump in there because I wanted to talk about the farming side of it and the partnering with the state.
No, we are
you are a
to
farmer. What grows in 150 days? But let me pause.
Let me come to Messi. Messi, what are your thoughts when you saw the story this morning?
So, firstly, I'll start off with the political angle to it. I feel that this government needs to, pay attention to the issues of being united, having a united front. So, of course, when the Minister for Agriculture put out the statement, there was also a discrepancy, more like a counter from Bayo on Nanuga. I hope I got the pronunciation correctly. And so, yes, so there seemed to be conflicting. It's as though you say one thing and another person comes, but you're all from the same house. So that does not, present a good face for government. They need to be together. They need to be in sync. I don't think the one ministry should come say one thing and then the aide of the president should say another thing. But that's on the one side. Some of the issues that, my concerns have been addressed and raised in the analysis of Diola herself and, of course, Uti. Of course, I broke down this in several ways and I asked how effective this would be in combating, food insecurity in the long run. This is actually a short-term plan, so you always look for a solution. The government has looked for a solution. This is a short-term plan. So what's the long-term plan? What happens after 150 days, right? What now happens? Also, there are also my concern, I thought about the safety issue. Don't forget that you're going to have major players right now in the market who would be available to import. Corruption is a major issue in Nigeria, whether we like it or not. Not that Nigeria is the only corrupt country, but, it's a very big deal. And so you find out that people would start importing substandard goods, to the country. So what's the safety measure? Are we concerned that people do not, the fact that it's now open, you have different players and people now importing, food and stuff that are not very edible for people, and then we'll now start having, health issues because we always want to cut the ways, cut corners. And don't forget that people who will be also involved in importing are also capitalists, and everyone who goes into business wants to make profit. Most times people don't care. Capitalist system does not care about anybody. It doesn't have a human face, and that's the reality. I also looked at the list. One of that is the brown beans. Sorry, I beg your pardon, the brown rice. Now, is the brown rice really a common man food? You understand? How many people eat brown rice? Do you understand? Is this an interest of a certain caliber of people, or it reflects the entire interest of the locals? So yes, the issue of availability. Now, there will be availability, but would it be affordable as well? Don't forget that, those who will be buying, there will be demand for FX. I'm also trying to understand how that will reduce, the demand for the FX. You understand? So if we're importing, how are we paying? Are we going to be paying in Naira? Is Naira the universally accepted currency? So how does that solve the FX problem? I'm still trying to understand. And will that also, the issue of availability, would it be available? You understand? It will be available, but would it be affordable for the common man? What would now be the cost of this? So, what now happens also to local production, to the local farmers? Are we really encouraging them? Because we've seen that, if this is for the interim, what now happens to those who are producing locally. And you know, Nigeria, when we start a thing, we never go back. We don't return. So this now becomes, you know, a signature. This now becomes a norm. Are we literally encouraging, you know, local production? Are we self-sufficient? Let's also look at the timing. Would this policy had happened, you know, in the first 3 months? Would it have been better if we had the first 3 months of this government? You get? So it gives more time, ample time. So there are several concerns and issues along the way. Let's not forget that this is actually, you know, as a solution, this is a proposed solution to the issue of food insecurity. But does it also address the root causes? Why is it that food is not sufficient? Is it not insecurity in the areas and the region where, you know, they are very strong on production? The fact that people can no longer go to their farms and farm, you know, properly. In 50 days, is the government going to address the issue of insecurity? I mean, there are a lot of concerns.
150 days.
150 days.
Okay.
So this is how I perceived it. This is how I have been thinking about it, and
I've been processing it in my head. You know, say we will be farmers. So I don't think or uti question. What will grow in?
what will grow in 150 days?
Well,
is a thought process.
How many days is 3 months?
90 days.
Corn will grow in 3 months.
Okay.
So it's hybrid rice? Corn.
Is it going to be the
my friend is a rice farmer. And I remember that when she wanted to start, she left banking and she started an further rice farm. In fact, that's the only rice I even eat. Me personally, I don't eat Ivo's imported rice. So the Ofada rice farm, she started, and I remember that, you know, she had, I think there was an arrangement with the government to give them lands. You understand? So they are just going to be farming on the land. And so they had expanse of land that they are farming on. So, I mean, speaking to your point about the collaborative part with the government, I actually do not believe that we need to import any finished product, because that is the problem that we have today as it stands.
Yeah, you're not importing finished products now.
No, that's what we're importing now. The brown rice. What are we importing the seedlings?
Is Hust brown rice. So the thing
Wait,
is,
now,
again,
let me understand what we're importing. What are we importing?
You're importing Hust brown rice, cowpeas, wheat. Hold on, I've lost the page.
As long as the government did not put seedlings inside
it's not seedlings now.
So my point is, do you have a seedling problem?
No, thank you. Let me now land the point, right? What we need today, there are farmers that are available to farm these things. And I can tell you for free that these farmers, one of the biggest challenges that they have is sourcing for fertilizers, is sourcing for what's it called, seedlings. We have to go all the way to the north to get corn seedlings to be able to plant corn. So because we plant 2 types of corn. We plant the local corn and we plant the sweet corn. We have to go all the way to the north to get those corn. There was one particular driver that took, in fact, we thought the person had run away with the thing. You understand? The person took the bags of whatever. For months, we were chasing this guy. We didn't even know. We thought he actually had run away. So the problem about logistics that Diola talked about, you understand? So I don't see why a government, so even if it is short-term problem, we're already suffering the food scarcity as it is. So why don't we just decide to say, you know what, let us be intentional about supporting farmers. When you travel, I was leaving Amsterdam to Paris, and I decided not to fly. I took it wasn't an over-surface train. I think it was a bus from Amsterdam to Paris. On that entire stretch, Uti, you would just be seeing gigantic windmills, and they were all farmlands. We have stretch of road. That's why you have all these hoodlums and kidnappers, all these people.
Former president was talking agriculture. Y'all don't want to hear.
No, but that's what I'm telling you. That what they say, what I see the government do is lip service. Because if you really want to be intentional about it is not lack of land that's our problem.
There's too much.
Do you understand what I'm saying? It is not lack of land. We have a lot of arable land. So why are we not thinking to say, you know what, all this Lagos-Ibadan expressway, going all the way to Osun, going all the way to the north, all those places where you see bush, clear the land and give those land. See if people will not become farmers. But you see, as it is now, you want to access farm. I would have thought that a government that is thinking will say, and I've said this in several times, why don't you focus on the machineries that would help? Already, farmers that have farmlands, do you know how much wastage goes in the fact that they cannot process some of those things, like tomatoes and all of these things that we're talking about.
But that's what
so if you, as a government, you really want to solve the problem, why are you not thinking of this import duty cost? Don't put it on a finished product. Put it on equipment. That when I import my processing, what's it called? Equipment, you take away anything import duty, so that I can now
It's easy for
process this thing and manufacture better finished products.
So the thing is,
this thing
You know,
does
wait,
not
the same
happen.
will go break. I'll come back. We are coming back. Nigeria, by extension, Africa, is faced with a lot of challenges.
With the growing youth population and very little engagement.
That is a ticking time bomb.
We're blessed people with a diverse culture who have a lot to say.
And yes, we are talking.
It is important we drive conversations that informs, inspires, and influences thoughts and actions.
If we say there is beauty in diversity, then let us embrace our diverse culture.
We must continue to courageously be the voice of transformation.
As we are the hope for the future,
Yesterday's conversation shaped today.
What are you saying to shape your tomorrow?
We know you have a lot to say, and we are here to hear you. Thanks for staying with us. It's our ladies' night out. They said I should calm down. And we're discussing the impact of federal government's food import duty suspension. Now, please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join us. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-4663. Our phone line is also open. The number to call is 07025 007749. That's the number to call. Uti, you were about to say something.
So, whilst your blood is getting hot and you're getting angry, my point is, look, nobody's saying there's no corruption. Nobody's saying that the issues don't exist. I'm saying that at one point, the past administration was begging people to come and farm. We've seen a lot of increase in the number of farms, farmers, and all of that, right? Today, we must first acknowledge our problems. When we behave as if we don't know what our problems are, that oneself is a problem, right? I was saying that there was a processing plant for tomatoes that had to shut down and be sold because we could not produce enough tomatoes. That plant was eventually importing tomatoes to be able to process. And eventually the family that owned it said, you know what, the math is not mathing anymore. And they sold it. So when you want to solve a problem, you don't look at one part of the journey. You look at the entire ecosystem. So I hear you when it comes to seedlings. We've shared before that there are a lot of things that we produce locally now that we produce because the last administration provided seedlings. My favorite vegetables are in there. That's why I know. The cauliflowers and the broccolis of this one. We never used to grow them in Nigeria. Turmeric is something that you are used to seeing in the markets before, right beside ginger. We didn't used to grow it in Nigeria before. So there is, when the problem is ocean deep, small drops don't register, right? I hear you. I'm not saying we don't have a seedling problem. I'm not saying that all these problems don't exist. I'm saying don't look at it in isolation. When you say
My problem is not even so much of corruption, Uti. Sorry,
I'm not even talking corruption. I'm coming to
you.
the point where I'm trying to say is that let's not look at one side of the coin and forget that the other side exists.
No,
so the problems today, right? I hear you, bring in seedlings, all of that. You have a supply problem. You are going to deal with every part of that chain at the same time. And this person is saying, for this front half of it, I am going to take off import duties so I can bring this in the interim so that the processor guys in the middle, we can try and manage that. That is what you call low-hanging fruit. The concept of clearing all the arable land. I remember when the president did the interview then with, channels then, when he talked about the arable land, all of us laughed. Everybody made it sound as if the man didn't know what he was talking about. But the truth of it is, clear the land, start planting. It doesn't happen overnight. So you fix one, you fix the other. The other half of the story says they are partnering with states.
So we will...
So...
Wait, sorry, Uti, calm down. Kule has joined us live. Good evening. Thank you for calling. Go ahead, you're live. Is it there? Hello? They are partnering with states. Continue. I don't want you to lose your thought. Let her finish. Let her land.
No, let her finish. Finish your thoughts.
I thought he wasn't.
You are partnering with states. My point is, the questions I want to know now is, what does that look like? Mercy is saying I tried to go into sugar cane? Sugar cane?
Today I'm not even...
Yes, of course, Kule, I think Kule is back. Kule, are you there? Good evening. Thank you for calling. We can't hear you. We can't hear him. Go ahead.
So it was sugarcane?
Yes. So she tried to go into it. So for me, these are the learnings I'm saying. What will you take? Right? How will you improve? Which part of the value chain are you solving for? I'm not for government, you don't think through it. We already know.
So the thing is, I don't think that at this point in time, we should be having this kind of a conversation. I don't even think that we should pamper ourselves as a country or pamper anybody or any president. You know why? Because before I was born, agriculture used to be the mainstay of this country. Why can't we go back to the drawing board? What stopped us? How come it was...
Then? People don't farm now.
People are farming. As much as we don't have a lot of people farming, and farming is not very lucrative, which should also be part of the government's effort and individual, is a collective thing. But we're saying majorly, if you look at the issue why, there's food insecurity, major concern is insecurity. Those who are even farming, the fact that people are not even able.
If you were talking, when you were talking,
insecurity is a major issue. So
if you had talked about insecurity, I will answer you.
So even the issue of insecurity is a major issue. So those who even have the land, those who want to farm,
you can't jump and change what your problem is.
The insecurity is huge. If you go to Benue State, if you go to some of these, we're here in city.
I can get behind this.
You understand? The insecurity. People don't figure their farm. My grandmother used to be a farmer. They cut people's neck now 2 seconds. You can't. It's so if we look at the issue, the major issues for those ones who are already farming, those ones who are not even able to produce enough to sustain the demand, the population of this country, what are we doing to encourage that?
Okay.
You understand?
Diola, I'll let you come in. I need to help Uti to understand my point. I have not said that.
I understand.
I did not wait. No, you don't understand it.
Yes,
because
I do.
I've not said that insecurity is not part of the problem. I was going there, but Mercy has helped me to get there. The point I'm trying to make is that let us have priority on what priority needs. If you say you want to solve a problem,
my dear, you cannot have priority on seedling when there's insecurity in farm.
No, it's not about seedlings now.
What will pick a problem?
No, I said
pick a problem and start still.
I said manufacturing. We're not shifting.
Pick a problem.
We are not shifting. You say you want to bring down import duty. I have clearly what I said in my head. You want to bring up import. You want to bring down import duty, and I'm telling you, bring down import duty on things that matter.
That matter, she has just said insecurity is a problem. Then they cut neck of farmer. Is it necklace farmer that we
No, you're still not getting
the point. Is it headless farmer that we plant the seed?
Sure, we can hear
Stop
Peter.
it.
Let me take Peter. Calm down. Peter, are you there?
Yes.
Go ahead, please.
Okay, how can people go to farm when they are still waiting for them in their farmland? Those people that they are importing from or they want to import from, are they not coming in their various countries? Like we have fatherlands in Nigeria.
Yes.
Like one of the guests we have in the studio said that before she was born, agriculture and farming was our way of life. We have a lot of food. But now what is happening?
Thank you.
You encourage people to go and farm when they are still
absolutely are waiting for them. Thank you so much, Peter. Thank you, Peter. Diola, let me hear you.
Okay, so I also want to touch on the fact that the honest truth is agriculture is not lucrative in Nigeria. It would interest you to know that the farmers who are actually doing the work, there's no reward for them. Very few reward. I was talking to like a farm, like this joint venture, no, not joint venture, like an association of farmers in Borno State. And it was quite pathetic because when they did the analysis for me, they were working, but it's almost like there's no regulation. There is nothing. The agricultural sector in Nigeria is a free for all. It is the strongest who makes the money, the middle people. So the farmers are like, what's the incentive for us to farm? We bear the risk, whether there is a harvest, whether there is a loss, whether there is insecurity or no insecurity. So even when their harvest comes, they still have to deal with the logistics side of it, which is where the middle people come in. And there is nothing for them. So they have a lot of wastage. So when they can't deal, when the logistics, the middle people say that, you know what, we're going to buy this entire harvest for 5,000 naira, take it or leave it. It goes to waste. They don't have a choice. So for them, it is their farming, but there is no profit for them. So they can't even sustain the farming that they're doing. And I feel these are issues. I mean, if you want to look at the agricultural sector, you have to look at the whole value chain. From this point, how can we make agriculture lucrative for farmers? Okay, so deal with insecurity, number one. Ensure there is a proper reward system. I mean, no, we all wake up in the morning and go to office because we collect a salary. We move jobs because we collect a salary. So, I mean, if it's not working, then it doesn't make any sense.
Let me take Rosalind. Thank you for calling. Good evening. Good evening. You're live. Are you there?
I'm here.
Go ahead, please.
Hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Well, about quotation.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, we can't hear you, Rosalind. Maybe try to call.
Hello.
Oh, sugar. Sorry. Uti Elu. I'm coming back for you.
I'm here.
The point I am trying to make, because I need to land this point. Maybe they don't think, say, I don't know it. What I am saying is that the government says they want to put an import duty suspension. And I'm saying, if at all you want to suspend import duty, it is not on finished goods. Focus on the things that need import duty suspension, which are the things that would help the farmers to grow more crops within our nation. That is what I am saying.
Your farmers
land
right
the
now,
points there
what
and
you
end
are
it there.
providing
Yeah.
is not enough for the machinery you want to buy is for processing. The seedling you want to buy is for growing. You are taking the middle of the chain without looking at the factors. And that's what I'm telling you. The low-hanging fruit of stopping import duty is to solve a small problem, one part of the problem. I stand with Mercy. No, she thinks I don't agree with her. Insecurity.
No, but we had not gone there. I had not gone there.
No.
I had not gone there. You were because you start from where your shoe is penny. Roslyn is back. Oh, Jehovah. Roslyn, you're live.
Today is today.
You're live.
Hello.
We can hear you now.
Just to inform you people that people that they kill every day in their farm is the thing that is causing the food increment in Nigeria. If people are allowed to go to farm and people are enjoying what they are doing, I don't think we'll be buying. Hello?
Go ahead.
I don't think we will be buying maize for 1,300 per year in Kaduna. And I'm a woman above 60. What the hunger in Nigeria this year, it has never happened. And people are begging on the street, crying. A tuber of yam in the market yesterday was selling for 8,000 naira. A family that don't have food to eat, how can they buy a tuber of yam for 8,000 and it will sustain them? That is my contribution. Bye.
Thank you. Yeah.
Do you know also?
I just want to point out that the two people that have called so far, they didn't call seed, they didn't call machinery, they called insecurity. Thank you.
Why are you pointing? I'm not insecurity. I feel threatened. The way you're representing me to insecurity, I feel like I'm insecurity. But that's what they like to know.
But we had said it that instead of the government to focus on reducing import duty, there's a reason why there's food scarcity. Yeah. And the reason, part of it is the real insecurity that farmers are facing. I know so many people have packed up shop. They are no longer going to their farmlands. We had reports last year where people said that they said before you can come and harvest your crop, you have to drop money. Even while they do that, they are not even guaranteed. Some say they have had to hire Mopo to follow them to go and harvest their crop. So if you are a government, you are thinking, why would you be focusing on import duties when there are real issues to solve? Then if at all you say you want to focus on import duty, it is not on finished products you will focus on. You focus on the things that is needed. There are people that are farming right now, the yams in Benue, completely gone. How do we find solutions to those people? Maybe you find how to get dehydrating plants or something, so that at least you even preserve it. They can convert them into... Yes, now you dehydrate them and convert them into powders.
Is it not the same thing that we're talking
about?
Let's
take
GMO,
David. Sorry,
GMO,
David is calling.
Genetically.
David. No! David, you're live.
Okay. Hello?
Go ahead, you're live.
Okay. I wanted to speak to the panels that are talking on the call right now.
Go ahead, you're live.
Okay, see, we're talking about food insecurity in Nigeria. A lot of people have talked about the insecurity concerning the health and farmers clashes. Now, some of us, we even decided to say, okay, let us do soilless farming, hydroponics. We've embarked on this soilless farming so that, okay, now we cannot farm inside the rural areas. Let us take the farming to urban. Now, federal government is even making those things difficult. You want to get your greenhouse, they will tax it. Okay, you're getting your greenhouses, you're talking about nutrients. You feed your plants. To get this nutrients is difficult.
Thank you, David. So shall they talk?
So
if you want to do tax holidays, those are the things to do tax holidays on. Let me
but we also remember the issue of the GMOs. I don't know if we're talking about the GMOs as much as we're also calling for seedlings and all of that. You know, the genetically modified seedlings that, you know, that criticism that's following it, the fact that Nigeria is, you know, agreeing to accepting some of these modified seeds. So it's also another concern that we should be paying attention to.
Who said they should bring seed?
And
that's the answer. That's the answer. No, who said they should bring seed?
Michael,
bringing seeds.
Michael is live. I gave you time to talk. You're talking about GMO. Oh yeah, Michael, you are live. Today. So long. Michael, you are live. Are you there? Oh shoot! I think we're having issues with his line.
No, so but back to it again. So apart from
it's you, she's answering.
The issue of insecurity, I heard the other caller talked about, you know, headers clash and all of that. Besides the headers farmers issues.
By the way,
there's
a new ministry to address that problem.
Oh really?
That ministry, see that's a very
Call
different
the name of the
conversation.
ministry now.
I think it's what's the ministry again? Development, livestock development, something like that.
We are complaining that we have a bloated federal government system. You are creating a whole new ministry.
What's your one solution?
Wait, so is that a solution? That's what I'm saying. That misplaced priority. Tosin, you are alive. It's misplaced priority.
But I think government should just deploy military people to feed farms. Honestly.
No, but
okay, we lost her.
We're planting the arable land now.
A bit now.
Yes, that's part of the plan.
Yeah.
Yes, now this plan, you didn't see it in
the new plan.
Story. They are partnering with states and with the military.
Yeah, let's take comments, please.
All right.
We don't have time.
So, the first comment is from, it says, hello ladies, beautiful conversation going on. In addition to the farmland that the government can begin to clear and give to farmers to farm, there's also the issue of how safe these farmers will be in being able to carry out their farming activities without hoodlums, unknown men, or Fulani herdsmen to attack and kidnap them. How safe are they really if the government doesn't provide security from them? Well
okay,
done. Ladies, thank you, Norma.
I think we have Benga from where? Jigawa, you're live.
Yeah, this is Genga.
Thank you for calling. Go ahead, please.
Good evening.
Good evening.
This is an interesting topic. Unfortunately, taking out import duty on food is a big blow to farmers in Nigeria now. Farmers are struggling with getting raw materials, getting the petrol, getting everything. And now you are bringing in food. So by the time they make their own produce, how will they be able to sell them? Fertilizer is expensive. Everything is expensive. So in short, this policy may solve a problem, especially for the few people in the urban center, but it's going to destroy agriculture in the rural areas.
Thank you so much,
So
Benga.
I think we should look at it.
Thank you so much, Benga.
And you also know...
I'm not talking again.
Well,
and
again, look, right, let me make my final point. We are running out of time.
We are out of time. Go ahead.
The reality is that we say certain things. I say that when you do not have supply to meet demand for processing, it is a fair assumption to think that farmers will be impacted. Today, what farmers are producing is not enough. That's why yam is 8,000 naira. So we're saying, bring in, you are trying to attack the problem from different sides. I'm not saying it is the best idea. I'm not even saying that I know that 150 days is the right amount of time. Or, like Mercy said, come day 151, somebody will say it have do. Right? But we must be clear that we don't make certain assumptions into the problem to say, oh, it's going to affect farmers. We had a story, when was it? When is palm oil, it never reached. You say they should not allow investors to come in. We can't have that kind of view, that perspective. We have a supply problem. Accept that.
I just hope that when it finally lands, we can buy it.
Final word. Final word.
Final word. Whilst we're addressing insecurity issues, I'm hoping that the president would please, and all the governors and everyone involved, to address these issues. Also, don't forget about the boundary dispute and intercommunal conflict that's also caused, especially across Rivers State. People are chopping their necks up and down.
Messi just wants to be bringing in new topics per second.
But I think we've had a fantastic conversation, ladies. I really don't know what to say. We'll see you guys tomorrow. I hope we will come back tomorrow. Let's go.